Sometimes you can do everything right and things will still go wrong. The key is to never stop doing right. I think that might be my favorite quote from The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I finished this book at 3 o'clock in the morning today. It is amazing, and I'm going to tell you why. Again, this is a review of The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So, with the current political and social atmosphere of America right now, I knew I needed to read this book. I did not expect it to hit me in the feels as much as it did. This is one of the most important books that I've read, and it's maybe the best book I've read so far this year. The writing is perfect. It really captures you, and the meaning of the story is incredibly crucial for any human person to consume. So the plot of the story is this. Star Carter is at a party, and she runs into one of her best friends. His name is Khalil. She hasn't seen him in a few months, and so they catch up, but then a fight breaks out at the party, and everyone leaves, and Khalil gives Star a ride home. While they're driving, they're listening to music, they're talking and continuing to catch up, and they get pulled over. The police officer that pulls them over is a little rough. He's a little rude. He, sees two black teenagers and misjudges them, and Khalil ends up getting shot 3 times, and he's left for dead in the street with Star as the only witness to this crime. And so she becomes a target for the media and the local gang in her neighborhood where this shooting took place. So, I had just finished a book when I picked this up. I wanted to at least read the first chapter because I knew it was going to be good, and I just wanted a little taste. So I read the first chapter, and it's just 20 pages long. But in that first chapter, you're introduced to at least a dozen characters, whether face-to-face or, through Star's thoughts, because it's told through her point of view. And you really just get immersed in her world, in her culture, right off the bat. It's immediate. There's no second guessing. It's powerful. It's really powerful. Sorry, I have notes over here so I don't forget anything I'm saying. So her culture, it's living, it's breathing, it consumes you, it takes over your world as you read this story. I sobbed my eyes out. I cried for justice for Khalil. I just wanted to hold Star and console her because she was just struggling to get through the day to day. She, was reminiscing over the Khalil that she knew and the Khalil that the media was creating. She was trying to figure out, which Khalil was the one that was killed. Was it the kid that she knew and grew up with from the time that they were babies? Or was it the drug dealer Khalil that was killed? And it's really, I know I keep saying this, but whew. The characters give this story its life and its purpose. The characters in this story are beautiful. They're also well developed. Each character has a purpose in the story, and they also continue to live their lives outside of what's happening with Star. Like, there's a universe, there's a world still outside of what's happening with her, which I think is genius. I'm glad that everybody is so well developed. Star's relationship with her family is very genuine, and it's nice to see such a close-knit family. They're full of respect for each other, they love each other, and, you know, Star has an older half-brother and then a younger full brother, and they all live together with their parents, and, you know, there are just lots of people in their life, and they have a huge family, a great community where everybody just kind of looks out for each other, and it's beautiful to see. I think the relationship between Star and her boyfriend Kress was the most crucial. Since I'm white, in case you didn't notice, I was really able to relate to Kress. Go figure. And, you know, it was interesting to see how fragile and stressful a mixed race relationship can be in the current climate of America. And, I mean, there are also laughable moments where they kind of opened up about their race and talked about culture, and they were, you know, open with each other and able to really connect on a deeper level, which I enjoyed seeing, because most people would be uncomfortable asking the sorts of questions that they had conversations about, and their relationship continued to thrive despite that. So it was really heart-wrenching to see Star's conflict, because she kind of has these two sides to her personality, because she lives in two worlds. There's the black neighborhood that she lives in, kind of the, you know, the poor black people in her community, and then she goes to a school that's wealthy, well-to-do, upper middle class, mostly white people. She's the only black girl in her grade, and throughout the story we really see the conflict of her, and she can never really be herself, and she really develops and grows, and we see her emerge as herself at the end of the story, because she has fought for justice, she has fought for Khalil, and she was able to confront the racism in her life and stand up for justice and Khalil instead of shying away like she does in the beginning. She's afraid to speak out because she's scared. While reading this book, I really felt like I was thrown into the first season of the TV show The Wire. I recently started watching that with my boyfriend Tim, and we love it. I love that show. It's so deep, and with The Wire and The Hate U Give, you really see life from the side of the black community, and you see the people who have to deal with poverty, drug gangs, police brutality, people dying every day, and it's just depressing and it's heart-wrenching. And I feel like The Hate U Give was written so that white people like me can actually understand what black communities are going through in today's America, because children are taught how to interact with the police from day one. You know, Star repeats it throughout the book. You know, keep your hands visible, don't talk unless you're spoken to, don't do anything, you know, erratic, don't make any sudden movements or you could die. That's terrifying. And, you know, minority communities don't have resources or opportunities to succeed in America. And privilege does exist for different skin tones and socioeconomic statuses. And it's so depressing that this book had to be written. It's beautiful. It's so sad. And I know intersectionality is important. I actually have a quote here. I'm not going to read it because I want to keep moving on. But we see, you know, that oppression within society is throughout this entire book. And it really comes through because there are a lot of references to Tupac in his acronym Thug Life. And that's also what Thug Life also gives the book its title. So Thug Life stands for the hate you give little infants, F words, everyone. And so the hate you give thug. Genius. And so throughout the story, the characters are really reflecting on what this means and how it applies to their life. And I really think Star hits the nail on the head in a conversation she has with her father about oppression and thug life and kind of where she is in her life. You know, she's 16 years old, she goes to this school, she has a white boyfriend, one of her best friends turns out to be a racist, and she kind of is trying to figure out where she fits in. She's a little lost. And so Star says, I think it's about more than youth, though. I think it's about us, period. Black people, minorities, poor people, everybody at the bottom in society. We're the ones that get the short end of the stick. We're the ones they fear the most. Everyone's pissed because 115 hasn't been charged, but also because he's not the first to do something like this and get away with it. It's been happening, and people will keep writing until it changes. So I guess the system's still giving hate, and everybody's still getting effed. As a white woman, I accept that I need to listen more, and I also need to fight for justice more. And one of my favorite quotes from Star, it's one of her thoughts in the middle of the book. She says, "What's the point of having a voice if you're going to be silent in those moments that you shouldn't be?" So, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, a 5-star read. Pick it up ASAP, read it, devour it like I did. This is an amazing book, best of 2017. Go read it. Thanks for stopping by.